Hello everybody, Luca J. Peterson here, and welcome to what is the first tutorial on this channel, which I am super excited about. Today we're going to be looking at some Lightroom tips and features that you may not have known about, so let's get straight into it. The first tip that we're going to be looking at is something called composition overlays. So when you've fired up Lightroom and you're in your develop module and you've imported your photos, now on this screen all you need to do is come up here and click this button. And now when you're on here, you'll see that we've got the rule of thirds over our photo. But what Lightroom doesn't make obvious is that there are multiple more composition overlays. All you need to do is press the O key and you will see all different types of composition overlays pop up. Now, depending on the photo you've taken will depend on which overlay works best with that certain photo. But these give you a really good guideline when cropping and editing your photos to make it the most aesthetic it can be for the viewer. On to tip number 2, which is create virtual copies. So again, when you're in the develop module, you just come down to the photo that you have selected and right click. And then when you're on here, you come up to create virtual copy. And you can create as many of these as you want, and they take up no extra space on your computer. But the good thing is I can now do 2 different edits to each of these photos and change certain things about them, and it won't affect the first one. So if I wanted to use a different preset, for example, on this one, without having to start again from scratch, I can just compare the 2, decide which one I like, and decide which one I much prefer for maybe my Instagram feed or a poster or something like that. But this is a really useful way to basically try different color grades on the same photo and see which result that you like the best. Moving on to tip number 3. Nothing more annoying than on a photo when the horizon is just a little bit off. It just doesn't work and it just does not look great whatsoever. So a way you can fix this is come back into the crop overlay here, click this little angle tool, and then find the horizon in your photo and just drag it across like that, and now we have a straight horizon. This is what I think is just a really satisfying thing to do, just dragging that line across there and then everything levels out. It just works and it just feels good to do it. I don't know why, but it just does. And it also works vertically the other way. So yeah, use it. Moving on to tip number 4, which is to use the L key to dim the whole Lightroom panel and just have the photo selected, and then you can hit L again and it will completely black it out. I literally use this all the time because it really helps the color grading process and helps you see exactly what colors you are using and what they look like true to themselves on a black background. Moving on to tip number 5, which is instant white balance. When you've taken a photo and it might have come out too cool or too warm and you're not sure where to go, just click this little color dropper here and find a spot in the photo that you know should be pure white, which I know that was this flower. Click it and you get the correct white balance. It works 9 times out of 10 and will save you a lot of time. Moving on to tip number 6, which is a clipping mask. So when you're on here editing your photo, all you do is click the letter J and you will see either red or blue marks pop up. And you might not, and if you don't, that is a good thing because it means you're not clipping anywhere in the photo. But basically what this means is if it's blue, it means that that is pure black and it is probably too dark for the photo. It doesn't matter if there's a little bit of it, and you can go the other way, and if parts of the image are too blown out, then you will see that it turns red. It's a nice little indicator to have, and it can just show you areas of your image that you may not even know are blown out, but this will tell you if they are or not. Moving on to tip number 7, which is kind of a mini tip, but when you're in Lightroom, as soon as you open it up, you get the side panel and it's all cramped to the side like this. Now, I learned this a while ago and I've never looked back since, but all you do is just click the edge here and drag it out. And this gives you so much more room to play with and make minor adjustments to your image without drastically changing it, because where you had it before, it was all cramped up like that, because even if you moved it a tiny little bit, you made huge changes to your image and it's just annoying. Moving on to tip number 8, which is graduated filters. Again, this is something that I use very regularly in my photos, so I'll drag one up from the bottom like this and just add a little bit of a darkness, a little bit of a fade on it like such, and then I'll add another one coming from where the light is coming from and just increase the exposure slightly, maybe the highlights as well, a little bit of dehaze or something like that. And it just adds that little bit of glow to the subject that I'm wanting to show in the photo. Again, it doesn't have to be too much. It has to just be very subtle, and it depends on the photo that you're doing, but it helps draw out the subject in the photo for the viewer and just creates a nice bit of contrast with the lighting. And tip number 9 is back on the graduated filters. All we do now is select them again so we can see where they are, these little points, and now we click O, and that shows exactly where this filter is affecting. And then what we can do is if we want want to remove that filter just from a section of the photo, we just click on the brush tool over here, hold down Alt, and we just erase it from the certain section that we want. Again, this will completely depend on the photo you're editing, but it's a nice little option to have. Tip number 10, and that is checking the before and after of your photos. As you can see here, I've made a load of adjustments to this photo, and I can't really remember what it used to look like, and just to check if I've gone too far or not, I can hit the Y key, and I'm given a before and after of this exact photo, so I can see what I've done to the edit, and then I can see how it was before, and decide if I've gone too far, and if I want to go back and maybe change a few things. The other thing that you can do here is hit the backslash key, and you are given a direct before and after that flashes between you on the screen. It's just about which one you prefer on those and which one you find more useful. And on to tip number 11, which is rating your photos. When you've just been on a photo shoot and you've taken hundreds and hundreds of photos, you have to look through all of them, decide which ones you like the best. The main thing that I do is just rate them out of stars, and you can rate them 1 to 5, and I pick 4 for the ones which I think are pretty good, and then if I come across and I think, yeah, I really like that one, I will give it a 5 star. And that way, I don't have to wade through all the photos to find which one I like again. I can just come over here, click the filter button, and click on rate. And then you can create a threshold of which photos you want to be included. So if I only want 4 and 5 stars, I'll just click that one of 4-star minimum, and it will just show me which photos I have rated 4 to 5 stars, and then I know which ones to edit. It is a really helpful way to organize your photos so you don't have to wade through all the other ones and just get your best ones selected. And that was the final tip of the video. Do let me know if you learned something new. Maybe it's a feature or something that you didn't know Lightroom had. Let me know down in the comments, and also which one you are going to use, which one's your favorite. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for more tutorials like this. There's going to be way more coming. I'm going to be upping my game and try and get to 2 a week, which reminds me, if there are any tutorials that you want making or topics that you want covering, let me know down in the comments and I will make a video about it for you. But that is all for this video, so I will see you next time.